Hey guys, it's Megan and I'm back outside. It is gorgeous and today is definitely the last day that I'll be able to do this. We're about to go into a week-long fall rain season rain week and it was going to be awful and wonderful all at the same time because I love rainy weather when I'm writing. Today I am bringing you a book review of a book that I received from Of Tomes Publishing at no cost in exchange for a review. And I loved this book. The book that I am reviewing for you guys is Trapped in Silver by Emily Soden. And this book was amazing. I loved it. There were a couple of things that stood out that I'll get into a little later, but I really would just want to talk about it because I am so glad that I filled out the application to read this book because it was definitely worth the time, and I can't wait to read the second one. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right in. I have my bullet journal right here, which I wrote out my review because I read this book like 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, and I forgot a couple of things that I really wanted to talk about, so I made sure to write it down so I wouldn't lose it. And anyway, if you guys don't know what a bullet journal is, I highly recommend you check out bulletjournal.com. Not sponsored, I'm just a fan of the system and I use it on a day-to-day basis. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding here. So the story centers around 17-year-old Ava, who is really no stranger to lies. She has been on her own with her adopted brother for quite some time now. Her father has disappeared. It's been a few months. And really, her brother and her, it's all that they can do to keep things afloat. And everybody thinks that Ava is this weirdo who is never going to be able to get a husband, and they all avoid her or treat her poorly. And to avoid this, when she goes to sell their goods, she dresses up as her supposed twin brother, Cedar. And this book was just a lot of fun in the fact that this girl was so determined to take her own life into her own hands. Every year in her village there is a solstice celebration and Ava is desperate to go. She's always wanted to, but her father has never allowed it. Well, her brother jumps on that same bandwagon and won't allow her to go either, but she sneaks out anyway and goes to the festival as herself rather than her twin brother Cedar. And this is what starts off this whole adventure. Now, while she's there, she is targeted by a group of men and they attack. And she defends herself, but with one swing of the knife, her entire life changes. And she is half dead, she is in deep trouble, and she ends up having to put her faith in a stranger who's been hanging around her father's farm. And he introduces her to this world where everything is different. While she is with him recuperating with some friends of his, this man who attacked her has formed a dangerous obsession with her, and it is the whole backbone of the novel. While she is recovering, Ava starts to have these visions of a past that she has no idea what's going on in. She has no memory of it, and she starts to see visions of the future that are horrible and she is desperate to prevent. Well, all of this is tied to this locket that she's had around her neck that she can't remove no matter how hard she tries. She's had it around her neck since she was a child. While Ava is recovering, she finds herself in the middle of this centuries-long war, and she has to learn as much as she can about it in order to survive. And honestly, the lore was one of the best things about the book. Into my review of the book, I was not expecting this, but it actually brought out that feeling I used to get when I was a teenager before I had to start adulting, which sucks, but you know, everybody has to. You gotta grow up sometimes, at least in taking care of yourself. But it brought out that feeling that I used to get when I was reading, like binging on books all the time, and just it recaptured that magic for me and made me feel so, this is the weirdest thing, but it made me feel so magical myself because I was experiencing this adventure. The tone and pacing in this novel were great, but there were a couple of things that were rough. A lot of transitions that it took me a second to catch my stride with. And I mean, I read it all in one sitting. Honestly, I think if I had devoured it in smaller bites, I wouldn't have noticed these as much, but that's one thing that I did pick up as I was going through it. One of the things that I didn't like so much, and the reason I rated the book like I did, was because of some of the characterization choices in Ava. She started out as this kick-butt female, and I feel like it was false advertising because, yeah, she has the guts to get out and do something, but she finds herself playing the damsel in distress a lot. The character was kind of inconsistent, and that was a little bit of a disappointment, but the side characters were wonderful. I did, however, like the character of Roan. He was very much a damaged person in the novel, and it wasn't the poor pity me kind. He totally was going out of his way to be this man who can take care of himself and take care of his family and the people who take care of him. And just learning what he went through was horrible. I'm not going to tell you because that would spoil something, but it was really hard to watch or to read, because I can't imagine going through that kind of trauma myself, and kudos to Emily for writing that. So the dynamic between Ava and Willow, the mother-daughter healer combo, was quite interesting. I did like how Willow was very protective of Lavender, but she still allowed Lavender to do her own thing. And it was pretty refreshing, considering the situation that they were in, that she would have this much trust in her child to do the right thing, to be herself, and to use what she knows to help. And I really did like that aspect. I feel kind of like that's the relationship that I have with my mom. She's very much the kind of person who will fight for her kids, and I feel like Willow was very much similar to that. The character of Ethan was a little hard to get to like at the beginning. He was very distant, very domineering, and it took me a while to warm up to him, but when I did, I don't regret it because he actually was a good character. But he was very much the macho, brooding hero that I thought instantly I would dislike. And his character progression was actually very well blended into Ava's progression as a character, and I really did enjoy that. The things that I did not like, as I said before, some of the character inconsistencies in Ava and her reactions to things. And there was an issue with the ebook itself. There was some spacing issues, but that's more of an editing issue than a writing issue. But I just want to bring that up just because that's something that I think would need to be fixed. So one of the better things about this story, besides the actual story itself, because it was pretty good, was the lore and the history of this war and what's going on with it. And I cannot wait to learn more about it in the second book. It was really good. And the world building was actually quite interesting. It's hard to say that I loved this book 100% because of the issues that I came up with, but I did rate this book at a 4 out of 5 stars because it was that good, and I really can't wait to read the second one. That is actually it for my review, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I would love to interact with you guys, and that is it for this review. So I hope you guys are enjoying whatever you're reading, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.